Thank you to Wondershare PDF Element for sponsoring this video. Hello the internet, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be all about college advice or habits I wish I knew before starting my first semester. Yes, I've done one semester of college and suddenly I'm an expert, and here I am giving advice. But I just thought this would be fun since personally my next semester is approaching, and I have learned a lot of things in this first semester that I thought are worth sharing. With that being said, let's get into it. First piece of advice is don't skip class. This is like the most important lesson everybody should know. Do not skip under any circumstance. I personally have never missed a class other than like for appointments and everything, but I have a few friends that skip sometimes and they've all told me the same thing. Once you start, you can't stop. So it's really important that you attend all of your classes. This is like basics 101, but please do. I know sometimes it's very tempting if, for example, like me, you are going to college in a fun city where there are fun things to do, and yet you go there every day to attend classes. Oh my god, I wanted to skip my French class so much sometimes because it was just so, it was only like an hour and a half, but it was the most painful hour and a half of my week. And sometimes it's easy to skip too because you tell yourself that you won't really miss anything, but like I've said, once you start, it's really hard to stop, so don't do that. Second piece of advice or habit that I wish I knew is to prepare everything you can the night before, or like just prepare everything as early as you can. I had a few early classes, and even like I had 10 a.m. classes, which isn't that early, but sometimes I would wake up and the night before I told myself that I would just deal with getting ready like that morning, but then I wake up that morning and I'm in such a rush to find my backpack, to find all of my school supplies and my lunch, and I end up forgetting things. So prepare everything you can like the night before. You will love yourself the next day. This includes preparing food, so you don't have to like meal prep every single thing you're gonna eat. I just recommend having a few go-to easy recipes that you can always make when you're lazy. I also like preparing like pasta, salad, or rice like on Sundays, so that way I can have them ready as like a base for my lunches throughout the week. Okay, I say this, but to be honest, I haven't done it that many times, but the times that I did do it, it really saved me. I also prepare this really good chicken and chickpea sandwich mix that I like love so much, so that has become my go-to. Planning out your outfit the night before is gonna save you so much time if, like me, you overthink it, because I cannot count how many mornings this semester I woke up, put on an outfit, and then changed like 10 times, and my room just became a mess. And then I had to clean up that mess when I got back from school, and it just became a terrible cycle that I do not recommend for anyone. So plan your outfits, prepare your backpack, have a few snacks in there, some hand sanitizer, extra masks, all that stuff. Download playlists on your phone so that when you're on the bus, you don't like have nothing to listen to. Grab a book and put it in your backpack so that way you don't forget it and you have something to do if you're stuck in traffic, or like if the metro's down, which has happened before. I just end up having to wait an hour in the metro and I don't have anything to do. So when I have a book in my backpack, I'm really grateful that I brought it. Tip number 3, or like habit, is to have an organization system that will keep you organized. And this is specific to everyone. Everyone has their own system that keeps them on top of things. Personally, I love planning things digitally using Google Calendar. It's just my go-to. Like I put all my classes in there, and then as soon as I receive an assignment, I type it directly, and I can schedule reminders like a week before so that I know to get started on that essay if I haven't already. So I highly recommend that. But then again, everybody like has their own system. I also keep a physical planner to just write down my classes and any like other reminders. I just like having it in 2 places. I also really recommend using the app Flora for when you're studying or working on essays and stuff. Basically, you go on the app, you plant a tree and set a timer for like 30 minutes, and then if you leave that app to go on social media or to do anything else than studying, it will kill little plant that you planted, so it just breaks my heart to do that, and therefore it really helps me to stay focused when I'm trying to study. I also really recommend having all of your online tools and resources ready and like organized, so doing some digital decluttering at the start of the semester can be really helpful. And also just having your go-to like resources on your computer already set will really be helpful during the semester, which brings me to talk about today's super helpful sponsor, Wondershare PDF Element. PDF Element is an all-in-one PDF editor which has a bunch of tools that easily allow you to convert, create, edit, and annotate PDF documents. You can download it directly from the App Store onto your phone or tablet, and it's of course also available for Mac and Windows computers. They're an essential if you're a student like me. I find that something I really struggled with last semester was learning to annotate documents and readings digitally. Whenever I tried highlighting, it would highlight the whole document, or if I wanted to add a comment in the margin, it would take up so much space. So luckily, using the highlight and comment box feature, I could do both of those things much more seamlessly. Using the OCR function, you can also scan paper notes into digital notes and annotate them directly on the app if, like me, you're trying to go paperless. My textbook for my pre-semester physical education course was fully online, and it was a PDF, but it included some review questions that I unfortunately wasn't able to edit. But luckily with PDF Element, I was able to type in my answers and even edit the whole entire document if I wanted to. So you can really do a lot of things with this software. And overall, there are just so many features that are really helpful for anyone. I really recommend you check them out if you're a student like me. You can find the link in my description to download the app for free and or sign up for full access. That will allow you to access even more of the features on all of your devices. Once again, thank you so much to PDF Element for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to it. Tip number 4 is to keep a budget. Now, I hope that this semester I have in-person classes, but one thing that comes with that is also spending a lot of money. Obviously, I have to spend money on transportation every month, which is very expensive, but I also noticed that the more I went to college and went into the city to study, the more I made purchases that were sometimes pretty unnecessary, especially when it comes to going to coffee shops. That $5 matcha latte is going to add up if you have it like twice a week and then every week. It becomes pretty expensive. So I really recommend tracking all your expenses on your phone. Personally, like I like just writing down on my notes how much I spend whenever I press my little card. Another tip kind of related to this is to make your own tea or coffee if you are like me and you are a big tea drinker. I noticed that I spend most of my money on food, which is fine, but sometimes like I have my own lunch and I have my own snacks and I could definitely be eating those, but instead I'm buying like pastries. Tip number 5 is to make the most out of your breaks. If, like me, you have a schedule that has a lot of breaks in between your classes, make the most of it. Now this semester I don't have as many long breaks, but last semester I had like 4 hours between classes sometimes, and so I would usually try to use half of my break to study, to do some homework and go to the library, and then I'd spend the other half hanging out with friends and doing something fun, because obviously it's all about balance. Being on campus, I personally really enjoy going to the library and taking advantage of that because it's such a nice space where I can focus. The Wi-Fi isn't always the best. It's actually kind of bad sometimes, so that does suck a little, but I just like to take advantage of that time and that space to get a little bit of work done, so that way when I come back home after school, I have a little bit less work to do. I also really recommend trying to make the most of your commute if, like me, you have a long commute time. My commute is about like 40 to 50 minutes, which isn't that bad, but it can definitely be pretty long. So what I like to do is I usually always bring a book, and my commute is like my dedicated reading time. I mean, you don't have to like pull out your laptop and start doing homework right then and there on the bus, but if you can like do some reading for your classes on the bus, that can be helpful. Personally, when I had like really early morning classes, I would download like hype music or just like music that made me want to dance, and I would listen to that while I was on the bus so that when I got to school I felt like energized and ready for the day. Tip number 6 is to try to get outside every day, even if it's for like 5 minutes. It helps your mental health so much, and this is especially important if you have online classes. I know this semester is probably going to be a bit of both personally for me, so I'll try to stick to this habit. But I find that including a little bit of time outdoors every day just really helps me get moving and feel better. But what I like to do is I would like text my friends and tell them like, are you free right now to meet? And then we would go on little walks around campus and kind of catch up. So it was a great way to not only socialize a little, but also get your steps in and get some fresh air. Tip number 7 is to have an accountability partner. I still don't really have one because actually it's my fault. I just haven't asked my friends. But having someone that will hold you accountable is really helpful when it comes to like assignments and due dates. But if you find yourself a friend in one of your classes and you can hold yourselves accountable to be early and be on time with your assignments, then that's amazing. Also, I don't know if this counts as like having an accountability partner, but for example, this semester in English, I took notes for my friend, like for me and my friend. That kind of like forces you when you're like doing the work, not only for yourself but for someone else, like it forces you to really do that work well. Also in some colleges you can get paid for that, so that's great, you do that. I didn't even write this, but keep a water bottle wherever you are, like always. This is not really a college tip, it's just like a life tip, but always have a water bottle with you. Tip number 8, even in your useless classes, pretend to care. And I'm gonna try to explain this like as clearly as possible, but basically I've had like some classes where I've just sat there and I was like, this is so useless, I actually don't need to be here, this is pointless, I hate this. But when you pretend to care and you like take notes and you act like you're interested, at least that'll help you like get through it a lot faster, and it will help you be present and be like a good student. The best way to pretend like you care is to take notes. I would take them on my computer and like, well actually, okay, this can be a little tricky because you can get distracted on your computer, so be careful. But like just taking notes and having a note-taking system that works for you will help you stay on track of everything and will help you actually focus in class a lot of the times, because you're not only like listening, but you're also copying and summarizing the information right then and there. Tip number 9 is probably like the hardest one, but it's to start as early as you can on everything. As soon as you receive an assignment, try to like do the smallest thing. And sometimes the smallest thing you can do is just write it down in your planner. But you've done the first step to completing that assignment. You're already like 1% done. Personally, I'm a cinema student, so a lot of my assignments are more like creativity based than like science or like math based. So a lot of the times the hardest thing when it came to my assignments was finding an idea for a movie, for a script, for a presentation. So just trying to schedule in a brainstorm session, or even just brainstorming an idea right then and there and trying to get some like ideas in my brain really helped me and made me like just do things a lot faster. Tip number 10 is to make time for what you love. These are great years of your life and you shouldn't be spending all of them holed up in your room studying. I know sometimes, okay, I can already hear you, sometimes it's super hard and difficult to actually prioritize yourself when you have so many deadlines and so many essays, but actually try to schedule in time for yourself. It's so important, and in the long run, it's what's going to help you stay healthy, stay happy, and stay sane. Anyways, that brings us to the end of this video. I've had this video idea for so long, so I hope that this advice was somewhat helpful. I really tried to narrow it down to like the most important life lessons that I learned. But if there's anything I didn't mention, please feel free to share it down below so that we can help each other out. And if you're looking for more college or school/study related content, I have the series on my channel called the Study Diaries, where I vlog my everyday life as a student, so feel free to check that out if you think it would interest you. You don't have to, but it's there. I'll have it linked up here. Once again, thank you so much to Wondershare PDF Element for sponsoring this video, and make sure to click the link in my description to check them out. I really thank you for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day or night wherever you are, and also an amazing semester, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Okay, we're done. Time to eat. I am hungry.